Hi! I was just practicing rhythm here with the metronome, but the only point in it being here is that it illustrates when I'm tapping my foot. I discovered pretty early on a simple way of practicing rhythm that is really easy to understand, and here it is. As I said, this just illustrates when you're tapping your foot, and if you play something and you stop tapping your foot in the middle of it, it clearly shows you that you have work to do, because that foot you should be able to relate everything in the music to that basic beat, and if you can't, you're just floating around above the music and trying to emulate that you're playing music actually. So it's a really it's a bad thing. Let's call it a bad thing. If you want to be a well-rounded, highly skilled musician, you need to be able to never stop tapping that foot. So the metronome is just the foot. You can't see my foot, you can see the metronome. So here's that, I explain it to you in very simple terms here, and then you can increase the complexity. I'm just going to put the tempo down here. What I did was, I said, okay, first let's decide on a basic tempo. And we have 4 beats in the bar, so this would be 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? That's how I'm not going to talk about notes here, so you can always add that on later. But then playing that, just imagine you play that and you do that with strumming. That's the most amazing thing on a guitar. We can have that percussive thing going. Can't do that on a piano or a saxophone, but we have a rhythm instrument here actually. We have a percussive instrument, and we can exploit that, we can use that, right? And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to focus on 8th notes, which is just 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. If you want to practice rhythm for soloing, just choose one string. I'm just going to play just the same note there all the time. I'm going to mute all the strings with my fingers here across all the strings, and then I'm going to, then I can push down my 3rd finger here every time I need a note, an accented note. I can also just play the note and then play it louder with my pick. Right? But as you can hear right now, I have one stroke in between each click, each foot. Right? So I say 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and all my clicks here, all my foots are downstrokes and all my upstrokes are in between. So those are the and, right? So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and so let's hit all the downstrokes now. Let's hit all the, go with the foot there. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and the upstrokes are just percussive. And if you're practicing rhythm for playing chords, you can take a bar chord and then go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and then all the upstrokes are just, right? Like that. But let's keep to the note here, because it's when we try to solo that rhythm gets really complex, right? We're not playing the same rhythm all the time. We're playing all kinds of little rhythms on top of each other. So let's try to hit all the ands. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And this is when it gets weird, because the foot is moving down and I'm accenting the upstrokes, right? Okay, let's get a little bit more complex here. Let's hit the first downstroke on 1, and let's hit the second upstroke. Not the first upstroke, but the last. So I would have, like, if I go 1, 2, 3, 4. I have the first downstroke would be 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me find the second upstroke. 1 and 2 and, right? That will be the second upstroke. So let me hit 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. Let me see if I can do that with the tapping of my foot. So I go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Oh, if it's a chord, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, right? So let me hit the third upstroke as well. So I go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and, right? So that's the whole concept. It's so easy, or so simple. Anyway, it's not easy, but 1 and 2. And because you have these strokes, you can easily illustrate the subdivisions of the bar, the strokes you're not really emphasizing or putting an accent to. And that gives you that cool tool that you can use to build rhythms. And so what I did here was just choose first the tempo and the 4 beats in the bar, and then I subdivided them by saying, okay, I want one stroke in between each click. I could also have gone for 3, as I said before, or I could go for 4 in between. So I go, let me just illustrate that just by, so again, 1 and 2, and that was my ba da da da, and that's how my hand moves. Then I could go for ba da 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 da. That's 3, which creates ba 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 ba, down, up, down, up, down, up. Down, and then I can start practicing hitting each and every one of these strokes, right? Accenting each and every one of them. I gotta have 4, 1, 2, and that's da 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 da. And then I can easily go, okay, let me see what beats I can hit in there. And so what that means is that you can really sit with. When you practice this enough, you develop that ability to play what I just played in the beginning there, that you can start having fun using different rhythms here. And it's all based on just da 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 da, and then changing the subdivisions of that. So this is the tool. Use it, and use it today until you master every rhythm in the world.